Hi guys, another day, another victory. So we are here back for season 3 series finale. I know I've been just gone, but let's just hop into it and we're going to start with the Bible verse. And it's going to come from Romans chapter 15 verse 4, and it reads, "Everything that was written in the past was written to teach us so that we could have hope. That hope comes from the patience and encouragement that the scriptures give us." So basically, that scripture spoke to me because right now in my life, I am going through a season of just opening up wounds or opening up baggage in my life and really trying to dissect them and understand why I went through these things or why my loved ones went through these things and piece them together into my life. Not necessarily searching for clarity. Sometimes I learn clarity is not of God because we can't try to play God in our lives, but more so finding an understanding of how to now move forward in my life. So I have these end of the year questions for 2024, and I'm going to answer them. That way I can, in detail and stay on track, share with you guys everything that has been going on with me throughout this year and throughout this season. So let's go ahead and start. The first question is, what were some of your favorite moments of 2024? And wait, first, shout out to my cousin because she sent me this from her church. I think they like had a moment like where they could reflect, and she sent me these pictures like, wow, this is so sweet. Because I've been praying to God to help me find a way to do this episode and go through everything without missing things or feeling scared to say them. And these questions laid out that path for me. Also, as you see, we're outside at the Parthenon. It's like one of my favorite places in Nashville. Okay, back to that question. So the most memorable thing for me in 2024, honestly, it's not a super like good thing, but I had a court situation, um, and that was the most memorable thing happening for me because it literally happened on January 2nd. And just to be fully transparent with you guys, throughout the year of 2023, towards the ending of that year, I really didn't have a lot of money, and so I picked up habits from someone I was spending a lot of close time with, uh, and I started gifting myself at stores. Honestly, that's not a good thing. But I was doing that because I didn't have the money to buy things or get things that I wanted for other people. And so I was like, I'm gonna do this. And it felt good in the moment. It sure did, but it was not something that I knew God wanted for me. And I felt conviction every single time that I did it. And I also felt bad because I dragged Jaden into it. And I'd be like, girl, just take it. Like, ain't nobody gonna notice. And she didn't want to do that. And so that was me not walking in the way that God wanted me to. So fast forward, I continued on into 2024. Literally at the New Year's service at my church, I was like, you know what, God? I'm gonna be different. I'm not gonna do that no more. All this stuff is gonna be my year. And then literally less than 24 hours, I went to the store and I thought I was gonna be slick again. And I got so caught up in what I was doing and stealing, and I had gotten so many things, and I guess I didn't scan anything or scan more things because I had gotten so comfortable in stealing. And this time it happened at Walmart, and I was at the Walmart in Laverne, and the loss prevention team came and was like, "Hey, you didn't scan some of your items," and I was like so scared. I had to play it off because Jody was already scared, and I didn't want to make it worse. And in that situation, fast forward, like we actually had to go to court and all these things, and for her case was like let off that fast, and I was getting mad. And I was like, "What? Why did my case get let off? We was at the same place at the same time." And I knew why I didn't get let off because I was the one initiating in this act. I was the one saying, hey, I want to do this because I don't have the money, justifying wrongdoing when I shouldn't have been doing that. And in that time of doing that, God was teaching me patience and teaching me to trust in Him because there's a lot of things riding for me in my life. And I didn't want this to be in my record. I couldn't say anything at school because I mean, we literally have something called "that's not okay," and the first thing, theft, can't do that. So I can't really mention it at school. Hey, but it's over now. My thing has been dismissed and expunged. So that's why I'm telling y'all. Because other than that, y'all ain't gonna find out no me. So that's why I'm telling you now. But in that season, it really dragged me down because I've been dealing with it from January literally to October. So it was basically all of 2024. And it had haunted me. Like every time I did something, I immediately thought about it. And it should have, because I was doing wrong and I knew I was doing wrong. And so this was the most memorable moment for me, because when I got a chance to teach my siblings right off the bat, hey, don't do something you know you're not supposed to be doing, and then don't lead people you love into that. And that was just the most human thing for me, because I've always held myself on a high pedestal. I was like, not me. I would never go through anything like that. And then, hey, I did. I had a court situation. And I promise you guys, I do not want to go through that again. So in that moment, God was just teaching me that I really have to depend on Him, even if I have it or if I don't have it. So you can take that with whatever you want to take it with. You can take it as just being nosy, which I know some of y'all are going to do, or you can take that as a learning opportunity, as God's telling you, hey, and there's something in your life that you're dealing with, focus on Him, depend on Him, and don't allow your own fleshly desires to dictate what you do. Because, y'all, that I'm so glad that it's over with. You don't understand. Okay, next question. How did those moments reflect God's blessing? Okay, so like I was already saying, that moment in my life was so hard for me because I'm consistently praying to God and asking Him to forgive me, which He had already done, but I didn't forgive myself. And so it was a lot of back and forth in that moment of my life throughout those couple of months. So it was like 8 months. Yeah, because yeah, no, 10 months of the year, of this year, I had just not forgiven myself for this action. And I would consistently beat myself down about it. This was a time for me to realize in my life, I am not in control. If I want God to be God over my life, like I said that one time on that TikTok, where I was like, God will do what you allow Him to do in your life. And this was one of those moments, because I was so like, oh no, I did wrong. I need to be punished. I should not be let go. My case shouldn't be dismissed. I should be charged with something. I should have to do community service. Like I was telling myself, I have to go through something because I did this wrong thing. But it wasn't about that. It was about me learning that God is there for me, and God is always with me and around me and listening to me, and He cares about me. It was not, I'd already been punished the moment I did it, because I instantly felt the conviction. I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to do this again. But I kept telling myself, there's no way I deserve to be let go. There's no way I deserve for this to work out in that way. But I did deserve it, because I am God's child and I just made a mistake that I don't want to do again. And so this reflected God's blessing for me, because I was able to see that, wow, God truly does love us, and He wants the best for us, even when we actively do wrong. Like when we actively make a conscious decision to do wrong, He still's like, no, let me show you how much I love you. Let me get you out of the situation. And that meant a lot for me and changed my whole perspective of my relationship with Christ in that moment of my life. So let's move on to the next question. When did you see God show up in His faithfulness? Okay, I think I always seen God show up in His faithfulness in my life, but one thing for sure is, I've shared before about being or feeling like I'm a part of the LGBTQ plus community. It's still something so hard for me to talk about, because it's not the norm to be a Christian, someone like me, a disciple of Christ. It's quite actually shunned, and so I don't want to say I feel like I'm a part of this community, but more so, yes, I have interest. I love someone of the same sex. And it is so hard for me to sit here and say that, but that's the truth for me. And that's just the truth, period. Because no matter how long I've been fighting it over the last 8 years of my life, God has still been with me throughout this, and literally communicating and talking to me about this. God has been really talking to me about this throughout the entire span of me and this other young woman's relationship. And we have fluctuated and been through a lot over the past 8 years. And the main thing was that we just wanted to be accepted by our parents. And I think in that, it's also hard because God is showing His faithfulness, because He never stopped, right? Like He never stopped. But for me, I told Him, well, if my parents don't love it, then that means like you can't accept it. Like you can't be faithful to me in this season, because I'm doing wrong. I'm doing what is not called to do. Like in the Bible, all these scriptures against homosexuality and all these things. And this was something I had to take a deep dive on. And God showed His faithfulness to me, because He didn't leave me. There wasn't a moment I felt neglected by God. There was not a moment I felt neglected by God. And I think the main thing people want to tell people that struggle, let me not even say that. The main thing people want to say to people that are in same sex relationships or same sex attracted is that God is no longer with them, or God is not hearing them, or God still loves you. No, God never stopped loving me. That's the thing. My relationship with Him never stopped. It actually continued to grow throughout this process. But the thing I think is happening is I'm psyching myself out, and I'm telling myself, God, you're not with me because I'm living this lifestyle that is so wrong. But it's not even that, because in that I can still bless someone else. I don't know what someone else is going through, if they're going through the same thing, feeling like, oh, God doesn't love me, but I'm able to show like, no, He does love you. And this is something I try not to talk about so much because I feel like I'm not as strong, and I don't want to be a hypocrite, or I don't want to, what's that word? I don't want to, what's that word? Blasphemous. I don't want to be blasphemous or contradicting or anything like that. But the truth is, like, no, this is my walk with Christ, and that's what it's about. Like, yes, the Bible is there. The Bible is to help lead us and instruct us on life. And I think for me, and me trying not to be blasphemous, a hypocrite, contradicting, it is ate at me, because I'm trying to make sure I'm pleasing everyone else around me. And even with the Bible and all of these scriptures, y'all, I've done such a deep dive. Like, I've gotten so deep into understanding my relationship with Christ and how that affects how I feel, my emotions, and all of these things. And I think that in this moment of my life, I'm learning who I am, and I'm learning who God has called me to be. And I think throughout all of that, I've never wanted to turn away from God. And I'm proud to say that I haven't turned away from God. There's been hard moments, and this is definitely one of those times where it's like, if I do this, my life can either go this way or this way. And it has nothing to do with my relationship with God, but that's more so my relationship with those around me, because we all have different beliefs and there's truth to everything. And I can sit here and go through each different thing and dissect it, but why? Because at the end of the day, someone is going to still say, well, you're wrong. You're feeding negativity into people. And that's literally not what I'm trying to do. But what I am here to do on my podcast is just be honest and tell my truth, which I know that can be so subjective. And I'm one to always say there's an objective truth and a subjective truth. But at this point in my life, this is my objective truth, because it's not like I've just been saying, you know what, God, I want to wake up and I want to love a girl. Like, that's what I want to do. Nope, that's not what happened. Instead, it just formed on its own, like a natural crush for a dude will form on its own. And so that's why right now in this season of my life, I am understanding God's faithfulness and seeing how He's truly never left me, even though I've been told that He would leave me and His blessings would stop flowing for me. And it hasn't. Obviously, I'm going to go through things in my life because I'm a disciple of Christ. It's not going to be easy for someone that follows the Lord, but He hasn't left me in my decision of who I want to spend the rest of my life with and my life partner. And I think this is something that, as people of Christ and disciples of Christ, we have to learn to respect and communicate with people about. So that's how God has just shown me His faithfulness through this situation, because it's something that's consistently been eating at me, and He never left me. Like, that's all I can say. He's never left me. And to be told basically that that's what's going to happen if I make this decision, it hasn't. And the way that it's been eating at me, and I've been trying to find different ways. Like, y'all, this year I gotten on Tinder. The person I was interested in, she has also gotten on Tinder, and we try to talk to all these dudes and made mistakes just to prove, like, see, we are straight. We are gonna find our husband, when it didn't need to be like that. We don't know why God has us in this situation that He has us in right now. And we're trying to discover that and understand that. And the only way we can do that is if we just tune out all the voices of everyone else and really lean into the Lord and listen to Him, because He's never left us. And so that is one way God has shown His faithfulness to me throughout this year. Let's move on to the next question. Who was someone who has been a blessing to you? Someone who has been a blessing this year for me has definitely, it's like, I can say a lot of people, but I'm going to take this time out to shout out my cousin Jania, because this year we have definitely gotten closer, and I really enjoy it. I enjoy her. I enjoy her little family. I enjoy going to her apartment, and just the way we've gotten closer is we've been able to talk about God together and our relationships with Him, and then unpack some childhood drama together, and then come back and look at things from the outside perspective and try to piece them together She's literally like one of my safe spaces, and I love and appreciate her for that. And I'm thankful that God has blessed me with a cousin like her because she's super amazing. And I can go on about a couple of other people, but I really want to take this moment out to shout out my cousin. Literally, she even gave me this list of questions, and she just doesn't know how much of an impact she makes in my life and how much I am truly proud of her. So that's who has been a blessing to me this year. My next question: what were some prayers that were answered this year? So a main prayer for me that was answered this year, which this is gonna probably sound so bad, but I prayed like, God, I don't want to go home this year. I love my family. I love Daddy Jay, my mom, my brother James, my sister Hannah. Love them down, but I don't have it a room at home. And with this new experience that I am going through and allowing God to speak to me with my relationship, I don't want to feel this pressure on me. And then also just being the oldest sucks sometimes, and it's really hard. And so going home, sometimes I just need a break. And I prayed that I was able to stay in my dorm room the entire year. And my RHD came through because our mental state just wouldn't have been able to work being at home. And I do love my family a lot. And even talking about them, I also reconnected with my dad. I thought I shared on here at some point that I wasn't talking to my dad, but I reconnected with him. Long story short, I was Instacarting one day and I was going to Jolton, Tennessee, and my dad lives in Springfield, Tennessee. And I was like, you know what? Go. Okay, I was like, no. So if you guys ever seen Percy Jackson, like that movie, you know how Poseidon talks to Percy? That's how God talks to me sometimes. And he was just like, go to your dad's house. And I was like, absolutely not. He needs to apologize to me. He told me my grandma was turning in her grave and all this stuff to me. I'm not doing no. And he said it again. I was like, okay, well, whatever you say, Big Dad. And so I hopped in the car and I was like, Jaden, let's go. And so she was like, okay, yeah. So we went and it was great. It was really good. And then I wanted to keep trying. So then on Christmas Day, I went over there and didn't leave until what day? Went over there on a Wednesday and didn't leave till Sunday. And that was even different for itself because we were supposed to leave the next day. But it's just, I felt like I needed to just stay there. And then when it was time for me to go, God was like, go. And in the time of me being there, it's not that me and my dad just became best buds all over again, but I felt comfortable that I was able to break the ice in that situation. Now, it wasn't like it was an easy stay or a piece of cake. It definitely had its ups and downs, especially with me observing and then hearing some things. But even in that, I decided that my relationship with my siblings is what matters. And I have four of them. I never talk about my other two, which is Cadence and Savannah, but I love them as much too. Just I never have a relationship with them as deeply as I do with Hannah and James because I don't live with them. I don't get to see them. And I was talking to my stepmom, and she allowed me to realize, you know what? This is who I need to focus on. I need to focus on my siblings because even while being there, I was about to do my sister's hair, and I was so excited to do Savannah's hair. But then James, my brother, he called me, and I always answer his calls, and he FaceTimes me. So I answered, and I was talking to them, and my sister Savannah standing next to me, and then I give the phone to Jaden, and Jaden starts talking to them. And in that moment, it was like, so do I keep allowing it to be awkward and not introduce Savannah? Because they've met before, like, that reintroduction. Or do I just hang up? So I reintroduced them, and Hannah went ballistic. Hannah was like, what is going on? And because her name was Savannah too, she was like, okay, no. And I could tell automatically that it did something to her. And so when we got back to my dad's house from the hair store, me and Savannah went inside, and Jaden stayed outside and called my siblings, James and Hannah. And Hannah just expressed to her that she felt like I didn't love her and that it's my fault I had another sister. And when Jaden said that, I kind of felt myself go numb because I was like, wow. Because the night before, my dad was talking to me because I don't normally get a chance to eat that much because, like I said, I don't really, the money I have, I try to use it to pay bills, all these things. And so I haven't really been just eating. And so, yes, I am a plus size black girly and I love it. Well, I'm learning to love it. But it's not because I'm just sitting here, nom, nom, nom. Like, I'm not just chowing down on some food. It's literally stress. And when I don't eat, my body swells up, is what I've learned. And I was at my dad's house and I decided I wanted to get another bowl of like a taco salad because we had tacos earlier in the night and I was feeling really hungry. Then my dad just starts whamming on me about my weight, just going in. And again, I haven't been talking to my dad, so this is the first time I've been over there for a minute, and he's just going in, just telling me all the stuff how I might have to go on a water fast for 2 days and just eat crackers. And I was just listening. I'm just like, okay, it's coming from a good place, but it was just hard what he was saying. Then he just flips the script and starts talking about how I'm hard. I mean, not how I'm hard, but how Savannah is the way she is and is distant from me because I haven't been around and I have to fix that and then it's my fault. And see, anybody that knows me knows that I like to make sure things are good. I like to make sure things are whole. And it's not even that I'm controlling, just because if you're in my life or I'm doing something for you, let's make it the best that it can be. And so I definitely internalized that. And so that night I went to bed crying, and it was just kind of crazy because listening to my dad say that to me, it was like, you're telling me about the walls she put up and her trust and stuff, but what about mine towards you? And so that was a lot for me. And I literally planned a whole day to spend with Savannah about doing her hair, and I took her to get frozen hot chocolate because I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to spend some more time with her. And so think about it like this, y'all. The oldest person in my little circle, because it goes like my dad is the oldest, then my stepdad, then my mom, then my stepmom. The oldest parent told me something was my fault and I needed to fix it. And then it goes James, Savannah, Cadence, and then Hannah. And Hannah, the youngest person, telling me something's my fault and I need to fix it. And my brain just automatically it just went into a spiral. And I didn't know what to do because I didn't ask for my parents not to be together. I didn't ask to be the oldest. And even being the oldest is kind of crazy because sometimes, like deep down, I always still feel like I'm by myself, like I'm an only child. Because yes, I'm the oldest, but these two people have two different pairs. And when I say that, it's like James and Hannah, they're siblings, and they're full-fledged siblings. And Kate and Savannah, they're siblings, and they're full-fledged siblings. And it's just different for me. And it's something I don't like talking about because I don't like making my mom feel uncomfortable or making her feel like I don't feel like I'm loved because I know I am loved. But these are just things that start going through my mind as I reconnected with my dad again. Because when I wasn't talking to my dad, I wasn't really thinking it that deeply. But I started to think about Savannah and Cadence a lot because y'all see James and Hannah on my social media, on my episodes. And I don't want Savannah and Cadence to get older and get Instagram, all this stuff. And then the first time I try to connect with me again, they see that I've completely neglected them because that's not the story and that's not true. And I don't want that to be the thing. And so I'm just still trying to navigate that in my life of being the oldest, but then realizing that Savannah and James are also technically the oldest and just navigating through that. And even having like four parents, it's just so hard and so difficult because sometimes it literally feels like talking to my dad and my stepmom, it was kind of like, oh, well, this, and this about my mom and my stepdad. And it was like, no matter what you guys say, I'm always going to think of them highly because I was with them for most of my life and they raised me. Even the little childish stuff that they may have went through, they were young adults. They were literally my age at that time with me trying to be parents. And so I'm not going to ever fault them for stupid things they've done. But I think sometimes when I talk to either parent, there are some things that are just not said to me or swept under the rug. And I don't even know how, if anyone even knows this, but my first memory truly of my biological parents is them fist fighting, like actually fighting. And so always trying to not have that at the forefront is hard for me. And sometimes things, little jokes or things are said, and it's just kind of like, okay, well, why are we so insensitive about this? But y'all, yeah, that's like one of the main things for me that's just been kind of rocky and something I'm trying to now understand and uncover because even when Hannah said that, I just didn't know what to do because it was like, I hate that she felt that way in that moment. And then I went back and I told my stepmom, and my stepmom was like, well, who's the parent? I instantly got offended because obviously my parents are parenting. Like, they did a great job raising James and Hannah, raising them and raising me. And it has nothing to do with them not being great parents. And yes, I may act like a second mom, but it's because I so am protective over my siblings and I love them so much. And I'm trying. But that all stuff just goes, it just goes to a lot. And when it comes to Hannah, y'all, that's my baby. Like, I can't say it any other way. She's the one sibling that I always tell people I prayed for. Like, I prayed for a sister, and I love all of them. Who's ever watching this, whether it's my siblings, please, please understand, I love y'all. But I just gotta say this: I've prayed for all of you guys, but I prayed for a sister, for my stepdad, and my mom. And so when I finally got her, I feel like I failed her because in the car accident we got into, I felt like I couldn't protect her and I didn't do what I was supposed to do. But that's not even, it's not even something that should be on my back. But yet, that's what my brain thinks. And it's something I'm constantly, literally still trying to work through. So I'm going to put my glasses back on because the sun is really bright. But that's something I'm always trying to work through. Not to say I don't love James, Cadence, or Savannah, but Hannah, it is just something so different there that I can't get anyone to understand. And if you don't understand, then I don't care. But yeah, that's that question. So I'll move on to the next question now. The next question is, what moments brought me closer to God this year? And the top two moments for me that brought me closer to God is my relationship with Jaden. Because we finally, like I said, decided to be honest. And in that, it came with a lot, a lot, a lot. But it also was a moment of, okay, well, we're not lying anymore. We're not trying to lie to each other. And it was no longer seen as if we were behind closed doors or secret. And God, is nothing ever a secret to God or anything like that. But actually opening up that part to Him and allowing Him to see it without Him crying or acting like He don't know, because you acting like He don't know, it's different. It's a different feeling. And it's been crazy because we've been hearing from God together or separately at the same time. And it's just being able to walk into that. And you don't know how many people we've been able to come in contact with, and it just throws them off. They're like, wait, so you guys love the Lord and believe in Him, but you're doing this, and it's like, yeah, because we're young adults, one, we're young, and so we're trying to understand ourselves and figure ourselves out, and at the same time not exclude God in that process. And it's something that is so hard to do and crazy to do because of what we've been taught and all these things, but it is something that's continuously bringing us closer to God because we keep having these types of encounters. And the second thing is moments when I have cut myself or caused self-harm to myself. I think that, yes, those are the darkest moments in my life. I used to listen to gospel music as I was doing it, and I'm not proud of it. It's not a flex, but for me, it was something of, these are the moments where I am the lowest and I can't do anything, God. Like, I just need you. And those are the moments when I literally felt Him just come and sit right next to me, like just sitting next to me. And that's when I felt His presence so loud. So those two moments, I think they're contrastingly different, but those are moments where I felt the closest to God this year. So I'm going to move on to the next question. What unexpected opportunities came your way? The biggest thing is going to New York City. Y'all don't understand, but I've been praying for this since like the beginning of college. Like, I always wanted to go to New York, and I wanted to go for a reason and a purpose. Yes, of course I want to go see Broadway plays and all this stuff. And in my past life, I was on Broadway. But no, like, I always wanted to visit New York. And I saw this flyer and I was like, hey, this is the flyer to go to New York. And so me and Jaden applied for it, and we were able to do it. And it was such a blessing, even though y'all know the whole thing. If you don't know, it's on my Instagram, literally my whole vlog about it. Even though I hurt myself, I was still blessed because I saw that I didn't have to do anything, and people still wanted to be around me and still saw the light that I produced. And this is something that's so trippy to me. And I'm learning that constantly. Like, for me, like, my gift, I don't have to do anything. I just have to be there and be present. And that's enough sometimes. And it's not even to sound cocky or anything like that, but I'm just learning that about myself and learning that I am precious. My time is precious. Who I spend my time with is precious. I am no longer about to keep asking people to do things or asking them to hang out, because New York literally taught me that. These kids didn't know me from anywhere. These teachers didn't know me from anywhere. But when I was staying at the hotel, they literally asked about me and wanted me to come, even if I just sat there. And that was different because there are people here that I know and I try to invest my time in, and yet I don't get to see them. Literally, one of my friends, I have to act like I'm not even his friend because of his girlfriend. And it's hard because it's like, okay, yes, that's your girlfriend. And y'all, I'm not knocking that. That is your girlfriend. And if you guys are going to get married, hey, you're going to get married. I want to support you guys. But it's also like, I am no longer going to put myself in a situation for anybody else that God is not calling me to do that for. No more of that. I'm not going to keep texting people like, hey, you want to hang out? Hey, when are you free? Let's hang out. And then you can post on social media you hanging out with somebody else. No, and that's okay for you to hang out with somebody else. It's okay because that's who you're prioritizing. That's who you're choosing to spend your time with. And that is okay. When I say these things, I'm not saying it like I have to be the only person in your life. No, that's not what I'm saying. But just be real with me. Be upfront. Like everybody wants me to do with them. Be real with me. Be upfront with me. Like again, I got invited to go to this little party, but a person that I don't talk to anymore. It's not like we had a great falling out either. It's pretty bad. Was going to be present. Why am I going to go to this party? So I can feel like I have friends and I'm doing something? No. Like even last night, or whenever you guys see this, I think it'll be 2 nights ago when you guys see this. I was playing Crazy 8 with Jaden and my brother. And then my brother told us, okay, he's done for tonight. I love y'all. And me and Jaden were like, wait, dang, that actually got to hurt because he feel like we don't have any friends. Like, what is going on? But then I realized, I was like, wait, that's okay. Like, we just spend time with my little brother. We just invested into him. And now he feels good. And that's what it's about. It's about giving to those who want to be around you. And then we're able to still feed into each other. And then we're able to talk to another friend and play the same game with another friend who wanted to be around us. And I think it's just, I'm continuously opening my eyes to things and not allowing myself to just do whatever so I can feel like I'm being included or the life of the party. I don't care. And I can't care. Like, I want everyone to do what they want to do, whatever, if it glorifies the Lord. Let me say that. If it glorifies the Lord and it brings purpose and not death into their life, I want them to be able to do that and be super fruitful in it and then prioritize people they want to prioritize. But I'm no longer going to beg anyone to do anything or want to do anything with me. If you feel like you can't do that or you want to do that on your own, I'm not going to make you anymore. Like, I'm not going to keep chasing after you. That's not, God didn't call me to be a chaser. I'm not a dog. You're not a dog. So let's not do that. Okay? Okay. Let's move on to the next question. What miracles, big or small, can you remember? We got a car this year. If y'all know, I had a car. Probably don't know, but her name was Bougie, and she did her good run. Like, I literally had her since I graduated high school all the way up to my junior first semester year of college. So she ran to be an old car. So yeah, guys, I'm just really thankful for that opportunity and having a vehicle now. And those are really all the questions. And I hope I kind of went through my year, basically. It's been crazy. Even my finals have been crazy. And I made a mistake with that. But thank the Lord I had a second chance. I was able to retake my test. But no, if they say don't use your notes, don't use your notes. So I'm just going to leave it at that. But I was so thankful for being able to retake my test. And I'm just ready for this semester. I'm not saying this semester is going to be easy because I'm supposed to have an off-campus internship. I still don't have one, which this is definitely something last minute that's been sprung on me because I'm pretty sure at some point I could have an on-campus internship. And so I was prepared for that. But now it's like, yo, yeah, it has to be off-campus. Wasn't prepared. It's okay because God's going to do this big one, and I'm going to keep applying, keep doing what I have to do because I know in the long run, me having an off-campus internship is helpful because I'm getting used to actually leaving my home environment and going to work instead of just like going to people that I already know. So I understand. I understand. It's just a lot of work that I don't want to do, but it's okay. It's gonna be all right. We're gonna figure it out. It's gonna be a-okay. But all this to say, guys, thank you so much for being patient with me. I'm trying. I know I'm not like a content creator. I'm not an influencer, but I'm trying to just be transparent and vulnerable with you guys. And it's not easy because one, this is my life. These are real people I'm talking about, and I'm not trying to drag them in the dirt or make myself look like that. But it's just like I gotta say it some way because if they're not gonna listen to me, who is y'all? Okay, because you want to be nosy, not slang. Anyways, but I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I know it's probably a longer one, but I'm just truly thankful for y'all. You don't understand. Now with season 4, I am gonna have a season 4. Now figuring out the mission of it, the title, the theme, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I don't know right now because this last semester of my college career is about to go crazy. So I don't know, but I am gonna try to stay in contact with you guys like we're friends. Like I am gonna try to stay in contact with you guys or making little short videos, but I can't give you a set date, and I don't want to do that to y'all. I don't want to be like get ready, get pumped, and then I'd be like again. So about that, sorry, I don't want to do that. And I know I keep doing that every season, but the reason I do that, guys, is because one, it's really hard for me to open up emotionally. Like I've just started doing that like yesterday, so I'm trying to learn how to do that. And when I'm really down in the rut and just experiencing like complete numbness, it is hard for me to get up and pick up this camera. One, because I don't want to cry, look like one of those people that are just crying for attention. That ain't me. Okay. Two, I don't really know how to word when I'm really frustrated and try to filter through my thoughts and not put anybody on blast or all these things. And so I have to be comfortable. I have to be in an okay state to really get in front of the camera and record. And Jaden, she's always like, "Come on, we gotta record." I'm like, "Can we do it tomorrow? What about next week?" Next week turns into like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 months, and boom, now we're here on January 1st recording. Finish the season I started in what? Don't even know, but I know the season's supposed to end on November 13th, and we're still here. So, see, guys, I'm just be patient with me, okay? I know everybody's going through stuff, and I really want to keep this coming, keep this content pushing, but it's coming from a raw place. I'm not just making this stuff up as I go. And so because it's so raw, it's hard for me to really dig down deep and say things. I'm pretty sure there's some things in this episode I could have said even more honest, even more transparent. But I have to just be mindful. One, because I'm still a student in college. I go to a private institution. And then two, because again, I'm not trying to make myself look bad, make Jaden look bad, make my family look bad. It's not like that. We're my friends. Just putting that out there. But just sharing things from my perspective. And I love the Lord. I always say that, always will be. But yes. So I don't know right now when season 4 will be coming out, but please catch up on my other seasons that are out. And I'm going to continue to try to do little small videos here and there. And to end, guys, my song for this year is Hear This by Kiara Sheard. It's a nice flowy song, and it's a song of just talking to God and just sharing with him your constant struggles, what you're dealing with, what you're going through, but then knowing that he's just there, like he's a listening ear. And like literally no matter what anyone on this planet Earth tells you, your relationship with God is what matters. The Bible is so important. I'm not saying it is not important, but this Bible was translated through different things taken out, things put in, things reworded, all these things. So read your Bible. I'm not saying read your Bible. Okay. I'm not saying don't, but also know that it is about the relationship that you have with your Father, the relationship that you have with Christ that matters, and what's going to make you closer to Him. And I can't say this enough because I'm just learning this for myself. I've just stopped people pleasing like 2 minutes ago, literally. Like, it's hard. Life is hard. And it's just something we have to keep pushing through, keep going through, and all these things. I just realized there was one story I didn't share with you guys that happened in December, but I don't think we need to talk about that. Maybe we'll talk about it in a short little episode or something, but it's still kind of fresh. I don't know what the outcome is just yet about it. So let's wait. But with that being said, always remember, be, stay, and remain encouraged. Bye.